After the Charleston shooting that killed 9 innocent black people in a Bible study session, some people are questioning whether or not racism still exists in the South. Well, AJ Plus wanted to investigate this question, so they actually went to the South and just spoke to average people. Now, the reporter in this story, her name is Dina Takruri, said that she talked to a very wide variety of people and their answers were very diverse. Now, we are going to show you a small snippet of the video. I highly suggest you guys watch the entire video. We have a link in the description box for those of you who would like to. I thought the answers were really interesting and we'll discuss. Take a look.
We made it to the State House in the capital, Columbia, where the Confederate flag is flying and debates are raging. So let's go talk to some folks. Is the South more racist?
South ain't racist, no.
If you ask most white people, how often do you think about race? They would say, I don't, right? So if you ask black people, how often do you think about race? I think most will say, every day.
There's all black colleges, there's all black churches, and nobody complains. But if whites have all white college, all white church, they're racist.
I think it comes from a history of the fact that they had to, because of segregation, they had to establish their own schools and churches. Yeah, African Americans.
Well, that's true. And everybody got along good back then.
Sorry, say that again.
The segregation, everybody got along good.
Okay, so I want to note that you guys should watch the entire video. We are not going to show you the entire video here. There was a variety of answers. So there were individuals that absolutely acknowledged that racism is still a problem. And of course, in that clip, you see a number of people who don't want to acknowledge that it's a problem. Just a quick comment from the reporter here. She says, we talked to a wide variety of people on our road trip to South Carolina, and what you see in this video is a pretty representative sample of all the things we heard. There are some people not shown in the video whose responses honestly shocked me. 2 men defending the Confederate flag at the State House told me that if the flag comes down, then the nearby African American monument should also come down because it's racist and is just for the blacks. The guy who told me everything was better under segregation had a lot more to say as well, including how MLK was a communist who ruined the whole structure of our society. So it's a little insight into the production of the video.
Not everybody knows about MLK. They've ruined everything across the country.
Ruined everything. And of course, this opens up a discussion that we should be having in the United States, especially people who are living on the coasts who might be in this diverse bubble, who might not realize that in some parts of this country, there are people that still believe that segregation was great. We didn't desegregate too long ago.
Yeah.
You know, it was a few decades ago, several decades ago. But still, there are people who are currently living today who experienced segregation and they thought that it was great.
I love, by the way, the comment there about the, you said that they should take down the monument if we take down the Confederate flag. And I love that it has Confederate flag, nothing to do with race, nothing to do with racism, nothing to do with black people. But almost all the defenders seem to agree that if they lose the Confederate flag, the blacks got to lose something too. Sean Hannity was saying, well, if you ban that, then you got to ban Jay-Z and Tupac and all the other rappers. But again, nothing to do with race, nothing to do with black people. They just think that black people need to hurt if they lose the Confederate flag.
So the question is, now that we have this information, what do we do with it? Because
give up. I'm hardly even joking at this point. It's 2015, and that guy was the last guy in the blue cutoff was 45, maybe.
You're being very kind to that man.
Now maybe he's a little bit older, fine. But I hear what kids say. Like, kids are getting more tolerant on some things. When it comes to race, it does not feel like we've made that much progress.
I disagree. I think that younger people are much more cognizant of race issues, and I think that they're much more willing and not willing, but much more aware that it's been a problem in society and that we need to do things to aid it. I think usually when you hear these types of comments from people, it is from older individuals. Now, the thing about Dylan Roof that I thought was shocking was his age. He was 21 years old, and he had been so convinced that black people were the issue in the country. And that has to do with his elders. That has to do with the people around him who fed him that type of anti-black propaganda. And I think the only real way to combat issues like this is education, right? And integrating as many different groups of people as possible into our colleges and universities. Yes, that is a pro-affirmative action statement, and I don't care. I don't want to go to a college where all you see are Asians and whites. keeping it real. I want to go to a campus that is diverse. I want to go to a campus where I'm going to learn about people's lives, their perspectives, what they've gone through. That makes me a well-rounded individual. I think that's the only real way you combat it. If you...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these are people who either are in an actual bad situation or have convinced themselves that they're in a bad situation. We know that conservatives in America love to victim complex, and they need like a cause. They need a scapegoat, and it's very easy for them to continue to say, as they've been saying for hundreds of years, that it's all the blacks' fault. And if it's not economic, if it's not that they're taking our jobs, because they seem to mostly be accusing Mexicans of that now, and if it's not, it's not security, because now they're blaming Muslims for that, they can always go back to, as Dylan Roof said, that they're stealing our women. And that has been it's just so easy for some people in the South who need an identity, they need a history. That is a ready-made history with all of the symbology and all of that you would want to cling to. And if you want to be sort of exempted from any personal responsibility for your situation or the situation of your community, then it's very easy to just look to some of the blacks and say that they are the reason.
Yeah, it's a very depressing reality. Yeah, you're a lot more pessimistic than I am. But nonetheless, I think the responses were interesting to say the least, and AJ Plus did a great job with the video. Please check it out. Subscribe to their channel, AJ Plus, and take a look at the link below in the description box. You guys can watch the full video and share your thoughts on them.